That was a phenomenal goal by
brilliant goal.
Sesko.
Brilliant
Absolute
goal.
phenomenal.
And I tell you what,
phenomenal
DJ,
goal.
you called it, mate. You said get Šeško on crosses in the box. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Crosses in the
that's
box.
our plan B. That is our plan B. The plan A don't work. That's the plan B.
And there you go. That is full time. And I tell you what, it's not ideal. I didn't want to point before kickoff. It's not five straight wins, but it's unbeaten. And what I will say, what I will say, and I'm the point scoring thing, you guys in the chat, you know who you are, you know who you are. This is Manchester United, we never give up. United DNA. You got to believe till the very end. I mean, none of this. None of this is over. Michael Carrick. This is why Michael Carrick and hey, Michael Carrick substitution got a point, right? And that might be massive for us at the end of the season. Yeah, we can't. Every time we go 1-0 down, or we're having a bit of a difficult game, we can't just literally just throw our toys out the pram and just be like, no, we can't doing this. Can't be doing this. We're not going to win every game, but I tell you what. It's not even the first time we've done this season, right? A late goal. We've done it against Arsenal. We've done it against Liverpool. We've done it against Forest. We've done it against Spurs. We keep doing it all over the time. So there is actual proof. It's not even like, I get it if we don't score late goals, but we do. We do it all the time. Yeah. Like every week we do the late goals. So why are we now going, it's over. Carrick, you've lost it. Carrick, you've done it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not... It's not the result you would have wanted coming in the game, but it's a point. It's a point more than we thought we were going to be getting towards the end. And frankly, look, you now look at it go 1-1, one off the line, offside goal, and Ahmed at the end. I don't know what he's trying to do, but that could be something else. We've got to, you know what I mean? I know it's tough, and I know there's PTSD, and I get it. We've been shit for ages, but we still got to believe. And I'll say it. I know for a fact, that some of these weird United fans who were suddenly popping up once we were losing to tell us that, Amorim this, Amorim that, he's not here anymore, all right? And guess what? We managed to get a point, and we were shit today. We were rubbish, and we still didn't lose that game. And actually, credit to Benjamin Šeško, because he's been unlucky this entire time. Like, under Fletcher, he was good. And he was unlucky to be dropped for the Manchester derby. And he's reacted well every single time. And he should be starting out the next game against Everton. He absolutely should.
At Psychic Larry super chatted £4.99. Even when we're behind, I feel confident we'll come back. I love my team. Some of our fans are haters.
They absolutely are, Psychic Larry. They really, really are. Because, like I said, I'm so glad that some of the people... aren't the coach of Manchester United, because if that was the case, we would have literally clicked forfeit, 3-0, game over, I'll play the next one. We can't keep just, you know what I mean? And it's not even, I mean, to be honest, the late goal maybe even glosses over a really shitty performance by Manchester United. We were rubbish. We were rubbish. But a sign of a good team is that even when you're not playing well and you've had some adversity against you in the game as well, you still didn't lose. You still didn't lose away from home. I'm not thrilled with the result. I would have wanted a win. But you know what? Considering the circumstances, I'll take that. We move on. We didn't lose, but guys, we've got to believe a bit more. We can't be doing that negativity. We can't. We can't. You know what I mean? We can't keep doing that. You know.
And it's for those reasons there, Owen. It's for those reasons there, Owen, where if Carrick was given the job, these are the type of fans that he's gonna have to have. Ones that aren't gonna stick with him when it's a little bit rough and when it gets a bit rocky. I was sure probably up until the 75th minute that we was going to do something about it, and then it took a nosedive. But look, end of the day, Carrick makes the decision. He brings on Benjamin Šeško, who scores an absolute phenomenal goal. I need to see it back. I did see it. Like, he just flicks it. All he can do. It's exquisite finish. But a lot of people in the chat are saying Yoro, definitely Lenny Yoro single-handedly then kept us within a fight. He kept us within the fight.
Well, Yoro and Senna Lomans, right? Makes a one-on-one save with Callum Wilson. You know, that's a massive one as well. So look, make no mistake. Overall performance by Manchester United, rubbish. It was rubbish, not good. And a team that at points did look out of ideas. But I think what we do have to do, we do have to kind of give this team a little bit more credit. Maybe they don't deserve it, but there is patterns of behavior that we've done late goals a lot this season and very recently as well. I mentioned against Arsenal. In all of these games, we've been doing late goals. So it's not over till it's over, you know. I think the real positive out of all of that, of course, is not getting the loss. But you know, on another day could have been very different, right? We won off the line, offside. It needs to be better. But yeah, I just I don't know. We just I think this we can't, almost, it's, you know what it is like, we almost can't get greedy, you know what I mean? We won 4 games in a row against some of the best teams in the league. We ain't gonna win every single game, we're just not. And the fact that we didn't end up losing today, take a point, you know, we live to fight another day. It's still in our hands when it comes to the league. There are players that I think need to be looked at. I think Ahmad was really poor. Cunha ghosted
today,
a lot, to be honest. Again, most of the front three absolutely ghosted it, right? But we went at our best and we still didn't lose, you know. And I know that's you could say, well, that's the glass half full way of looking at it. The glass half empty is, you know, it's another bad performance against a bottom side. You know, West Ham are actually in pretty decent form at the moment. You know, and just again, we Carrick still hasn't lost, and that feeling of just not losing, you know, that does mean something. You can build on that, right? So yeah, it wasn't great. But even look, honestly, even if we had lost that game, I still wouldn't have been over panicking that much.
2582 super chatted £5. After watching that on a totally legal website. Think we didn't play well at all today. Shaw on their goal was terrible and then didn't sprint back.
It's true. The goal we conceded is shocking. There's like literally it's 3 errors in a row. It's Shaw letting it bounce. Then he decides to commit to a tackle, and then Cobby has to do better. I don't know what he's doing, trying to really pass a man off to nobody. Makes absolutely no sense. And yeah, it just, again, it wasn't great, but again, it's not a loss. And I say I hope that people will learn the lesson from it. They won't. We'll do the same thing. Heaven forbid we go 1-0 down in any game. But I tell you what, I'm assuming some of them are modern fans because. Like in '99 or whatever, you'd have lost your mind. This is Sir Alex, you need to go, mate. We're 1-0 down. And I tell you what, in that Champions League final, we were rubbish. So this is mad. And like I said, you guys know who you are. Live chat replay is a real thing. 75 minutes, 70 minutes, 60 minutes, we ain't winning this, or we're definitely losing today. We're definitely losing today.
I think the only people that were positive was me and you, Owen, in terms of,
definitely
look,
not scoring.
We're not going to worry. We're not going to panic.
We're definitely not scoring, you know? But I would still, it doesn't make it acceptable. You know, if I'm Michael Carrick, I'm still putting a rocket up them at full time going, that just because we got back, just because we scored a late equalizer, that's still not good enough. It's not. We played poor. I think now, hopefully now, Šeško gets his chance.
At Psychic Larry super chatted £4.99. Is there something to talk about with 2 games in 3 days? We haven't done that in a long time. Not an excuse, just maybe jarring for them.
Perhaps, you know, they did look a bit lethargic, and maybe that is where you go back to, you know, the thing about the rotation. You know, maybe it would have been, to be fair, there were people saying maybe it's a game for Carrick or some game for Šeško, and it soon turned out to be in the end, and he's looked very, very sharp. So maybe that. I don't like giving them that excuse, though. You're professional football players they're used to playing in European football every single season. This season's a bit of an anomaly for a lot of those players. So no, I don't know about that. I think it might have been just a bit of arrogance, a bit of overconfidence. You know, you saw us how we were playing in the first half. For some reason, we thought that space was just going to open up for us, even though West Ham are playing compact and playing a low block. What gets us the goal at the end? It's trying something. It's like you were saying, DJ, get the ball in the box. Get the ball in the box. Get the ball in the box. You know, try something, play some line-breaking passes. You can't constantly be trying to thread the ball through the eye of a needle against teams like that away from home. But the fact for me, there was something, I'll take that.
Yeah, I'll take that. And, you know, look, no one wanted to rock up here and to London Stadium and get a draw. You know, we all wanted a win. And I think some of you guys in the chat, quite shameless, to be fair, because I think we've been kind of we've been given a treat with these last 4 games. And I think maybe some of us have just become a little bit spoiled. And at the end of the day, as I said at the top of the show, we need to go and earn this. and win these games. You know, you got to
That's
earn it.
Supatch 4058 super chatted €5. Can't blame Carrick on this one. They didn't play with intensity and went back to slow ball tactics. No attack.
Yeah, but I think that was down to large part to West Ham. Like West Ham literally did what they needed to do. They plugged all of the passing lanes. They were just really concrete, resolute, compact. That's what a team, when they're fighting for their life, that's how they're going to play. And it's up to us to try and unlock that now. Not many teams can unlock that. Maybe not many teams can unlock that. They just literally just sat all behind the ball. They did kind of park the bus if you kind of, yeah, they did. But for us, there was not a lot of intensity and urgency. And to be fair, that was just down to how good West Ham was in terms of their defending. I think they were amazing defense, man. Honestly, they were quite resolute in that respect, you know. And what did I say at the top of the show? I said when United come to town, teams up their game. They up their game today, especially defensively, because they know they've been leaking.
And also as well, we cannot. I don't think we can pretend that this isn't a West Ham team that is doing has been better in the last few games. You know, it is a West Ham team that, like I said, it's for them. It was 4 wins out of their last, 3 wins out of their last 4. And there was the tweet that I said it earlier on from Rich Fay, who said that since Michael Carrick had come in, West Ham are one of the top 3 teams in the Premier League in terms of recent form. So they're in a bit of good form, and Nuno's getting them a bit more compact and a bit more together. So it's not going to be an easy game, certainly. And also, the goal we concede is really all us. It's all us with Shaw letting it bounce and then committing to the tackle. That was such an avoidable goal. It might end up being, again, not one of the worst points in the world. I know that the immediate thing to do is look at the table and go, West Ham are 18th. We should be beating them. Sometimes not like that. You know, sometimes it doesn't, doesn't work like that. So, I'm very disappointed with the performance, but at the same time, and I was going to say this even if we lost. I was thinking this in the back of my head, what if we do lose? Even if we lost, it wasn't the end of the world. Like it really wasn't going to be the end of the world. And I mentioned it during the thing, and I know some came back at me, but every game I don't think can be a referendum on Michael Carrick and whether he's going to last, whether isn't he going to last, blah blah blah. Because there's so many games to go still, and that is why even if we win 4 in a row, can't get too carried away. In the same vein that if he won tonight and we did get 5 wins and Frank cuts his hair, we're not going to go give him the job tomorrow, are we? We're not going to go, Carrick should get the job. So in the same way, if we lost the game, we wouldn't be like, well, you're definitely not going to get the job tomorrow. So it never was a referendum on him or anything like that. For me, it's a game. We move on to the next one. I'm really glad we did get the late goal, not only because obviously we don't lose the match, but I think it changes the next 13 days. The next 13 days, had we lost, was going to be so shit because what it would have been, it would have had people basically trying to, again, gaslight you to say that actually you'd focus on the negative as opposed to the 5 weeks of positive, 4 weeks of positive. Imagine that. In 4 weeks, we would have won 4 games, right? And let's say we had lost that. 4 games, we'd have won in a row, 2 against the best teams in the league, and we'd have lost 1. We would have just focused on the one we lost as opposed to the 4 we won. And the bigger sample size, the games that we won, we wouldn't focus on that. We'd focus on the one that we lost. But
as you say, what football's about? What have you done for me lately? That's what they're gonna.
But that's what's mad about it, DJ. What have you done for me lately? Lately, we have been winning, and even that ain't enough. And you know what I mean? Even that ain't enough. We know what they've been doing lately is scoring late goals and being resilient. And yet, when it gets to 75 minutes, we want to go, we're not scoring. Well, the evidence would suggest over the last few weeks that that's exactly what we have been doing, is scoring late goals and not being dead and not being, out of it until that final whistle is blown. And it's 1-0. You never know. You never know. And I think the biggest takeaway thing for me is that even when this was easily our worst performance under Carrick, we still managed to get something out the game. You know what I mean? Still managed to get something out the game. We seen one of our rivals that we're going after the Champions League with in Chelsea. They've bottled a 2-0 lead against home against Leeds this evening. 2-2. Like, it can happen, Look at the form of the teams in the top 6 in the Premier League right now. some teams are on horrific runs. Yeah, like this Premier League is still a madness. And it is still very, very tight. So as long as we're not losing games and we're if you give me this form to the end of the season, DJ, oh yeah, you'll four wins in a row, then you draw every other game. But brilliant. I love that.
Yeah, look,
we're still in good form. We're still in
we
good
become
form.
spoilt within these 4 games. We become spoilt. We've become very, very spoilt. And apparently, I'm what's it? Someone called me incompetent. All right, whatever. But yeah, I just think that look, I've seen a comment there. Oh yeah, let's stop this talk about winning the league. No one thought was serious that we'd win the league. No one was thinking we win the league. And then it was like, oh yeah, let's stop this talk about Carrick getting the job. Like, this is what we're talking about. We've drawn 1 game, and all of a sudden it's naysaying Carrick to getting the job. I'm not saying he's going to get the job, but just because of a draw away from home, and we've won 4 games on the bounce. We've unbeaten in 5. Like, we can actually take that on. We're still in 4th right now. We're still in where we need to be. Like, 13 days, Maguire can nurse his hamstring. We can try and get some players back that are injured, whatnot. And we go again. Simple as that. We just go again. Like, was the football that great today? Not necessarily. We had a lot of the ball, didn't really do much with it. But, look, we come away from that game with a point when we was probably a minute or 2 away from losing. So, you just got to be, we was resolute. We didn't stop playing. We carried on. Already.
Yeah.
So, I'm not too fussed about it. We said Carrick wasn't going to win every single game to the end of the season. We said that. We don't think that's going to happen. The loss has got to come somewhere. The loss is going to come somewhere.
And it wasn't even today. You know what I mean?
And it wasn't even today.
It wasn't even today. I tell you what, it would have been if we had the mentality of some in the chat, because what you cannot do in football is go a goal down and then basically throw your toys out the pram and go, well, that's it, we've lost now. That is, I'm telling you now, that is not the Man United DNA, right? There's been a lot of talk about Man United DNA over the last couple of weeks. I've witnessed in my lifetime under Sir Alex Ferguson plenty of games like this where Man United have stunk out the joint and then they get something at the end, right? It's sometimes a win, sometimes it's a draw. But Denzel Washington sentence, yeah, you're leaving there with something. You got to leave there. You got to leave there with something. And I think I agree, DJ. I think not shockingly, but we've become very spoilt very fast. We've won 4 games in a row. We win every game now between the end of the season. You know what I mean? That's what we've got to do. And hey, we're still that same side we were, like, under Ruben Amorim 6 weeks ago or whatever, or a couple of months ago. We're still fragile. We're certainly not going to win the league or anything like that. I think also as well, we've got a squad for 1 game a week. You know what I mean? And once 2 games a week come up, and even if Carrick wanted to rotate, there weren't a ton of great options. Probably Šeško was the best of it, really, in terms of the options you bring on. I think he should make some changes now in the next game. It should be maybe Šeško starting. It should be Mazraoui at right back, or
please. Yes, please.
Exactly. So again, this would be once again another test for Carrick of, all right, now it wasn't plain sailing. You haven't won the game, so there is now a reason to change the team. See if you can do it, but. Look, I've seen Man United in far worse days, far worse moments, and there's still a lot of football to be played this season, and we're still in very good form. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
we're still in very good form. Yeah. Direct to me says, spoilt. We should be winning against West Ham. You know what, though? I hate when we do this.
We should be winning. We should.
But and the thing is, director. This is the beauty of football, right? You can beat Man City at home, Arsenal away from home, but you might not beat West Ham away. That's football. That's how it works. You don't have a divine right to beat anyone. I've seen Manchester United win Premier Leagues and lose to like the bottom team in the league in that season.
I've seen that, yeah.
It don't work like that. It don't work well, you've got to beat West Ham away from home. You don't. Sometimes football don't operate on those kind of levels, right? It's a funny one. So I ain't gonna do the whole I get the standards talk, standards. But I think actually 4 wins and a draw in your last 5 games, pretty high fucking standards. That's pretty high standards.
It's not.
You know what I mean?
I don't know why I just feel there's a slight overreaction. I just think, look, let's all come together and just calm down. Yeah, just calm down. We drew. Wasn't the best performance. We didn't lose the game. We get a point out of it. We're in the fourth spot where we kind of wanted to be anyway. And hopefully we can get better than that. But look, we've got 13 days now. Look our wounds, and then look who the next opponent is, and we'll prepare. Just it's a point. It is what it is. Drop 2 points today. Is what it is. We just got to keep moving. And that's
Drop 2 points. You know, Chelsea dropped points as well. So, like you said, we're still in fourth spot. You know, we're still in control of our own destiny. There will be, and also as well, I would say to the folks that maybe were getting a bit, or maybe a bit upset that we didn't win this evening, brace yourselves, because there will be other games that we lose this season. We ain't going unbeaten for the rest of the season, folks. Like, you know what I mean? So prepare yourself.
So it's a meltdown every time. Meltdown every time.
There will be ups, there will be downs for the rest of the season. That's what happens in football. That's what happens in Manchester United. That's what happens in the Prem. So yeah, you know, even if we had lost tonight, you know, 4 wins and a loss, that ain't bad at all. You know, so got to still believe, got to stick with it till the end of the season. And then we'll see. Then we'll see, you know, where we're at the end of the season, and then maybe we can look back at some of these games and go, yeah, we should have won against West Ham. You know, we should have won that game. But as of now, it's still very, very much too early. Very much too early, and you know, teams are dropping points all over the place. You know, they really are. I mean, who actually out of the top like 6 this evening, who played? It was us. Us and Chelsea, really, the 2 teams in the top 6 that played this evening, right? Both of them dropped points. And tomorrow, who else is playing from like the top 6? City at home, Villa. It wouldn't even. I know Brighton have been rubbish. You never know. Villa might drop points tomorrow. You never know.
Yeah,
you know, we're getting in, and we're also getting into that stage of the season too. And West Ham, I think, are a really good example of this. Of those smaller teams around like February, March, April, they just start like doing all right. You know what I mean? They just start winning games or getting points. Is crazy. Where are we at in terms of the Supers? Let me finish these off. Lord Carrick says, cut your hair, dude. You're just making them nervous. Yeah, Frank, it's not good, bro. It's not good. All Elite says, I was a little worried seeing the same team again. And Fraser D says, we were not expansive in the first half. It allowed them to get into shape and weren't stretched. Got better as we got desperate and used the flank. Well, that was something I mentioned as well, that I did feel like as West Ham, I felt like they got deeper too early. And you invite the pressure on you. And, you know, and again, we've proved it. We do have that resilience. We do have that resilience of, you know, we even if it looks like we're out of it and it's completely dead, we still find a way. You know, we still find a way, and we will. And it won't be the last time we score a late goal this season, whether that's to win a game or draw a game. That's you know, that's what United does. That is Manchester United DNA. So look, we go into this now 13-day break, undefeated under Michael Carrick. Still, it's not 5 wins out of 5, but this is when perspective is important, DJ. If you'd have offered anyone, Michael Carrick's first 5 games, I'll give you 4 wins and a draw. Who's saying no to that?
We don't take it. We don't take it.
You say no to that. Yeah. So you know what I mean? That's where perspective is important. Matt says, only real chances we created were from crosses. Šeško should have come on sooner. It seemed pretty obvious by the end of the first half. Missed chance. That's probably fair. You would say with Carrick, you know, could have brought on Šeško earlier on. And it's not as if he hasn't been knocking at the door recently, because he certainly has, you know, in terms of his performances. If he doesn't start in the next game, I think then there probably will be questions for that. Yeah, 4 wins and a draw. Yeah.
It is what it is, man. You know what? Like, it just is what it is. Like, you know, we can't get too down, can't get too up about it. As Owen says, can't get too down, can't get too up. But writing the team off around 70 minutes is kind of criminal, man, from some of the fan base, man. I like to think I expect better, but look, we're all in it together, guys, man. Look, it's 13 days to the next game. I'm actually going on holiday. Actually, I'm going away next week for 10 days, so I might be back just as we start playing again, hopefully. So, all right, guys, it is what it is. We move, man. We just go. We just go again.
Finally, Peg says, Everton game will be even tougher. Strap in, lads. It ain't going to be plain sailing. Great start for Carrick. What a finish from Šeško, by the way. And that's it. That's exactly right. You absolutely agree, Peg, that it's not going to be plain sailing. It's football is like life. There are good days, bad days, and there's adversity. and you've got to overcome. Sometimes there will be setbacks, and just when there are setbacks, it doesn't mean you should give up. You know, you brush yourself down, you get back up, you try and put one foot in front of the other again, and you keep going. You know, that's what you got to do. So hopefully that's what Manchester United do, and it's not a defeat. It's not a defeat. We're still unbeaten under Carrick. So long may it continue. So there you go, guys. It's 1-1. That's it from us this evening. Flex will give his reaction from outside or inside the London Stadium, plus player ratings, etc., etc. So be sure to check that out. Of course, we'll be live again tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. with more stories, a breakdown, and everything else in between. So yes, and strap in because we ain't going to be playing for a while. we ain't going to be playing for a while. So going to be a long. Was it 13 days? So
13 days, man.
Yeah, 13 days. Anyway, guys, we're out of it. Have a good evening. Peace.